Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a sports betting perspective, with pro handicappers Alex B. Smith and veteran sports writer Jimmy Murphy. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Friday, February 25th, Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith will have Andrew with us momentarily, ready for a Friday NHL slate that is a little bit bigger than normal on a Friday, 6 games. So a decent-sized card for a Friday night. Looking forward to it. Thanks to everybody that joined Andrew and Alex on the BetCast last night. Of course, I was out, but it was good to see that BetCast went off without a hitch. And it was a good night had by all, and hopefully you made some money. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That's what it's all about. It's about trying to make some money, trying to cash some bets, and ultimately having fun, good camaraderie, good company, if you will, with all of our viewers and listeners. And, of course, you get to mingle with the crew. It's a fun experience, and we're going to have plenty more betcasts. Like I said, we're going to be doing them every Tuesday night the rest of the regular season, probably into the playoffs as well, and then selective Thursday nights whenever Andrew's around. And Alex, for that matter, we will kick them around on Thursday nights as well via BetCast. So thanks to everyone for joining Andrew and Alex on that last night. Looking forward to a Friday slate. Look back a little bit on last night because it's just a short 6-game card, but definitely some interesting games last night. How about the Columbus Blue Jackets? They continue to win games. They go into Florida and beat the Panthers 6-3 in that one. A goal explosion in the third period, by the way. It was 2-1 going into the third, and it ended up a 4-2 third period, and it ended up getting to 9 goals. So never in doubt if you had over the full game total of either 6.5 or 7 in that game. It still got there. Patrik Laine scores again. Columbus is on the docket again tonight against Carolina. We'll talk about him in depth there, but how do you not keep betting him to score a goal right now, or shots on goal, or any props regarding PL, Patrik Laine? Right now, he's been terrific. That was a great game for me because I did actually sprinkle a little on Columbus, which was my dog of the day yesterday. Just a small, tiny bet, but nice to cash it. And, of course, the bigger ones were the over. And the best bet on the show for me yesterday, both teams to score plus 140 in the first period of that Columbus-Florida game. So great result for me there with that one. Toronto with a nice 3-1 win against Minnesota. A low-event game, said Sheldon Keefe in his postgame. It sure was. I mean, you talk about tight checking. Wow, no one thought the defense would be as tight as a drum like that. But it was a very low event game, a well-played defensive game by both teams, and the Leafs just eke it out 3-1 over the Minnesota Wild. Wild slumping now. So we'll see if they can turn things around. Rangers with an impressive 4-1 win against Washington. Again, the Capitals struggling with consistency. TJ Oshie comes back and still can't find a way to beat the Rangers or play a really good game. One of the shockers of the night, New Jersey, 6-1 over Pittsburgh. They jumped on the Penguins 3-0 early in the game and didn't look back from there. Look out for New Jersey. I think there's bet-on potential for this Devils team now. Coming out of this 1-week break that they had. They got Dougie Hamilton back last night, defenseman. They got Andreas Janssen and Jesper Bratt back from injury last night. And look what Bratt did. He comes back from injury, scores the first 2 goals for New Jersey. That's a team to watch out for, the Devils. I think they could win some games, cash some underdog tickets, as long as they can get some kind of goaltending from Dawes and Gillies until they get Bernier and Blackwood back. They could surprise a few teams, in my opinion. Nashville beats Dallas 2-1 in a shootout. Boston, not pretty, but they get by Seattle 3-2 in overtime. I was right about Jake DeBrusk there. Jake DeBrusk, I said he scores in bunches. He scored a couple last night for the Bruins in that game. 4-3, San Jose beats the Islanders. Turns out you can't trust the Islanders still, even against San Jose. And another shocker last night, not so much that Calgary lost to Vancouver and the streak ended, the 10-game win streak, but it ended with authority. 7-1. Beat down by the Vancouver Canucks over the Calgary Flames. And now it's going to be interesting to see, the bloom is off the rose a little bit now after a loss like that for Calgary to snap that 10-game win streak. How do they bounce back? And guess who they play, Alex? Saturday night, the slumping Minnesota Wild at home. So maybe not be the right time for Minnesota in their struggling ways right now to be taking on the Calgary after a loss like that last night. Alex, some thoughts about the Thursday card?
Well, as far as personal bets pregame go, I got cooked last night. The only thing I had that hit was that both teams to score prop with Florida and Columbus, but missed Calgary regulation, missed Calgary in the first period. That Dallas Nashville game, I thought there was going to be a lot more intensity and tempo there. It ended up being 2-1. Another Dallas game, another Dallas division game, I should say, as well, going to overtime. So that's something to make a note of. And we talked about it with that San Jose and Islanders game. You can't trust the Islanders. San Jose, they'll seem to be kind of a slumping team. And I said, if you like the Islanders, I said, you got to be careful playing that regulation line because this game could be one of those that go into overtime. Sure enough, it does. And then San Jose ends up still getting the win 4-3. So those are two teams you got to kind of stay away from as far as betting is concerned. I would say the interesting teams to watch as far as the standings go because as they fall out of the race, especially more so San Jose, they could still have the potential to be a spoiler and beat a halfway decent team. So that's the thing. They might lose a couple of games here and there, but then next thing you know, they jump up and play a good team, just like Vancouver. They jumped up and played a great Calgary team on a hot streak, blew them out of the water 7-1. So we might see that at times. Same thing with even with New Jersey, 6-3 win, they said, over Pittsburgh. Now they have rallied back to play the Hawks tonight. And the biggest thing, obviously, was that Columbus Florida game. Columbus getting the win, and like I said, we're going to talk about it here. They're going to ride with Berube moving forward. I was kind of hoping to see maybe, he would get the night off here tonight, but they're saying he's going to keep going. And like I said, they've won 9 of the last 11, so maybe they've kind of struck gold. Maybe they've got something here with Berube. Like I said, he is a veteran. Granted, he hasn't had much time in the NHL. Most of his experience is in the AHL, but maybe he's kind of feeling a groove right now. And with this team, like I said, Line carrying the way offensively, Columbus is right there. They have a puncher's chance of maybe catching up closer to Boston, leapfrogging over Detroit, and trying to get that last wild card spot.
Columbus is definitely playing like a team that wants to make the playoffs. It's been extremely impressive what they've done. 9-2 in their last 11 games. It's been a great run for them, and it's going to be interesting because I believe one or both of Korpisalo and Merzlikins are close to coming back, and I think I was hearing that maybe Merzlikins tonight might actually be available to dress as the backup to Berube and maybe even start if he had to. But Brad Larsen's going with the hot hand right now, which is JF Berube, who's actually played pretty well. But we'll get into that game in a sec, why I've got concerns about Berube tonight in this game against Carolina. And speaking of that, we'll get into that right now. First game of this Friday, NHL card. Columbus Blue Jackets, Carolina Hurricanes. We've got Carolina minus 370 home favorites in this game, 6.5 the total. I don't know, people. I mean, did you not learn your lesson last night? It's tough to lay this kind of price against Columbus right now. That's the way I feel about this game. There's no question about that. We're talking about a Jackets team that's 9-2 in their last 11 games. It's not easy to want to go against them, period, let alone lay minus 370 with the opponent to do it. And again, this team is scoring goals in bunches. I've been very impressed. What's very impressive is they lose Zach Werenski, of course, didn't play last night in the victory against Florida. We thought, boy, that's going to really hurt this team. And how are they going to make up for that? He is one of their better defensemen. And sure enough, Gabe Carlson comes in. Not only does he play well, he scores a goal last night for the Jackets. So obviously they didn't miss a beat, obviously, last night with him taking the place of Werenski. Obviously, we know what this team's doing offensively. They're lighting it up. They're scoring 4 goals, 5 goals, 7 goals with regularity right now. This Blue Jackets team, we'll see if they can keep it going here in this game tonight against Carolina. Now, it is a back-to-back. It's 3 games in 4 nights as well for the Blue Jackets. So the games are adding up a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken as well, 4th game in 6 for the Jackets. So it's a little bit of a challenging spot for them off a huge win last night, obviously, against the Florida Panthers. We'll see if they can keep it going here tonight. But I think it's a challenging spot. And I know they're going to ride the hot hand with Jean-Francois Berube here, JF Berube. But there's a 30-year-old journeyman goalie playing a lot of hockey the last 4 or 5 days that's faced 40-plus shots now in back-to-back games. He could be worn down a little bit. Let's be honest. This is a guy that's, being thrown into the fire there and facing a lot of rubber these last 2 games against both Toronto and Florida. They fired a lot of pucks at this guy. Does he have the stamina to play well again tonight in this game on a second of back-to-backs? That's a big concern. Carolina's rested, obviously, into this game. I'm just going to stick with what's working, and that's over 6.5. These Columbus games are just flying over the total. I don't know what changes here. They'll find a way probably to score goals. Carolina's actually been lighting it up, and that because of that, they've been trending over the total, Carolina, the last few games as well. Kind of worried about D'Angelo being out on the blue line for Carolina. Tony D'Angelo has been a huge component of generating offense from the back end, moving that puck from defense to offense. He's been a big reason why we've seen that Carolina offense take off. He's actually leading the team in points. 40 points this year for D'Angelo. It's been a terrific year. He's had his head on straight, no shenanigans, no scandals, no issues with teammates or anything of that shit that was going on with the Rangers. He's buckled down. He's had his head on straight. He's not gotten into trouble, and he's played well on the ice. So they will miss him, but I still think Carolina, in this spot can find their way to scoring goals. Like I said, they've scored 4, 4, and 5 in the last 3 games. I like this game up and over the total. Again, it's been a crazy overrun for Columbus. I don't trust Berube here. And the reason why I'd be concerned about taking Columbus, and they were my dog of the day yesterday, they're not my dog of the day today, because it's a tired fatigue spot, back-to-back, 3rd and 4 nights, 4 and 6 nights. And the last time Carolina played Columbus was in this building. Carolina didn't just lose. They got blasted 6-0 by Columbus. It was one of those weird outlier anomaly results where Carolina just didn't show up that night against Columbus. Something tells me it's a different Carolina team tonight. So I like the over. And as far as goal scoring prop, you pretty much have to consider Laine again at this number in this game, as long as he keeps on finding the back of the net. It's been a terrific run for him. So how do you go against that? I would probably look toward Laine again, anytime goal scorer. Alex, Columbus, Carolina.
Yeah, you said, sticking with what works. I'm going to go with what worked last night in that Columbus matchup with Florida. Both teams to score in the first period. You're looking at it today,
Yes.
it's plus 155. And like I said, this is a
Yep.
Carolina team. We know how their offense can get ramped up. They've won 3 in a row. Have been scoring goals left to right. And if Columbus is fatigued, they still might be able to get some effort and get some chances going offensively, but we know they're going to give up some goals as well. Like I said, Berube, he's not going to be able to just stand on his head night after night and continue this run for quite some time. So I like both teams to score here plus 155. I don't want anything to do with a side, and even the full game total. If I had to play something, I would obviously be looking to get a better number in game.
All right, there we go. So for both teams, I lean that way as well. The only game in the last 5 games for Columbus where we have not seen both teams score in the first period was Toronto. That game ended 1-0. Other than that, though, 4 of the last 5 Columbus games, we have seen both teams score a goal in the first period. So I like the value. I think it's worth a bet as well. Andrew, what do you think? Jackets and Hurricanes.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Look, when I look at this game, I really think that this is one of those spots here where it's kind of like you get that feeling that all of a sudden everyone notices a team, and that's when you want to jump off the ship. And that's kind of how I feel about Columbus right now. Everybody's, wow, they're very impressive. Wow, line ain't scoring. This team's putting up goals. And then I'm going to, say what Alex always says, and not so fast, my friend. That's kind of how I feel here with Columbus. I mean, good call by you. I was on the show yesterday. We had a good time on the Betcast, though. But I heard you did like Columbus, Ian. That's great. And I think that yesterday was the spot. Today, not so much, So let's not forget, like you mentioned, 6-0 was the score the last time these two teams met. The amount of shots that Berube has faced. Pretty much, I'll put it this way, guys. I waited until Berube was announced to be in for me to bet Carolina puck line. And it's an expensive price. Don't get me wrong, but the way Carolina plays defense, the way they can protect their own end, I think a lot of people are giving too much credit to Berube. Let's be honest, guys. It's been the offense. Like, I'm not trying to diss this goaltender, but how many goals did they score against Toronto to win? How many goals did they score last night to win? It's not like they're winning these 2-3-1 games. Because that's where you give the credit to the goaltender. If you're winning games by scoring 4, 5, or 6 goals, I don't know. A lot of it has to go towards the offense, doesn't it? How much credit can we really give a goaltender if your team is scoring 5 goals? So when I look at the defensive core and I look at Freddie Anderson, I just think that their rest is solid. I mean, I think the number is like 8-2 last 10 games on 3 or more days of rest for Carolina. They're one of the teams that I look to bet on after a couple days off. And looking at them at home as well, great home record overall. So it's not a great price, but I love this -1.5 here.
All right. And sometimes you have to be willing to pay for what you want to bet. And in this case, that's the puck line for Andrew, -140 with the Carolina Hurricanes to get the job done by
And
margin
Jeffrey here
tonight.
says he was at the game yesterday, and he said he wasn't actually tested that much. So, I mean,
Yeah. There you go, Jeffrey. Good call. You know what? A lot of the shots, and because we had televisions on where I was at last night. We were at a party function type of thing, but we had televisions on with multiple games. And I did look and peruse at the Florida game, probably more than any of the other games early last night. And I did see a lot of the shots at Berube were not the prime scoring line, not right in the slot, not right in front of the net, some from the outside, some from the boards area, made it a little bit easier for him to stop some of them. You have to give the Jackets credit for that, but this is a tricky spot. This is a guy that's in his 30s. Let's not forget that. He's playing a lot of hockey at the NHL level the last few days, and definitely this could be the spot where JF Berube looks like that journeyman run-of-the-mill AHL, mostly goaltender for the last several years.
And don't forget, guys, 30-year-olds are pretty old, so.
Yeah, they are. Oh, you don't have to tell me about it.
Yeah,
I'm
we know.
I'm and cracking in my bones and in my back and in my neck. I mean, I'm way older than my age.
He gave me the one-timer in the slot for that one, Alex. So, I was in the office like Ovechkin, so I had to say that.
Yeah, definitely. That was a perfectly put it on the tee for you there with that. All right, Buffalo, St. Louis. We've got the Blues -330. Home favorites, 6 the total in this one. So I'm going to place a few bucks here. Nothing best bet material, but for me, Buffalo first period +195 here. Just for me, it's St. Louis. Too happy with their road trip. I don't like when Berube's out, a mean, focused, crack the whip son of a gun sometimes. When he is singing glowing praises about the St. Louis Blues' recent road trip coming back home for this game, that's a red flag to me. That guy's always going to look to make sure his team maintains an edge, and doesn't get too overconfident and feel too good about themselves. They did have a nice road trip, 3-0-1. They played well, put the boots to Philly, beat Toronto, which was a very good win, took care of business against Ottawa. The only loss was, believe it or not, to those surging Montreal Canadiens on that road trip for the St. Louis Blues. But when you're seeing Berube say shit like, we played some really good hockey on this trip. Yeah, we let one slip away in Montreal, but overall, very good hockey. And coming away with 7 out of 8 points, that's a real good trip. We should feel good. I hate that. I hate when coaches say that. It means tonight might be that stinker, that clunker, whatever you want to call it here for the Blues tonight. I think Buffalo could jump on them early. Is Buffalo a team I trust to win the game and be good for 60 minutes in a tough place to play? St. Louis does have a good home record. I think we have a special guest coming up here in a few minutes. There you are, Jimmy Murphy and the one and only Maddie joining the show here. What's up,
hey guys?
What's up, you guys?
Hey.
How we doing?
How are you, Maddie? What's up? How are you?
I'm good.
It's great.
Ready to make some picks
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt, you
ready
have
to make some
for us?
picks.
and some money.
All right, Maddie, have you done your homework? You ready to deliver the goods here?
I think we're ready, right? Let's do it.
All right, great stuff. We got Jimmy and Maddie joining us. Special guest, Maddie. Maddie, if she beats me head-to-head in win-loss record, she's going to be the new host of the Ice Guys, maybe. So I better make sure I've got my game ready, game face on and ready to perform today. So getting back to this, Buffalo, I think in the first period, might be able to jump on St. Louis. They're not going to be happy about getting shut out. And I saw that game against Montreal. Montreal was very good, but Buffalo was lethargic. It was just one of those games that looked like they were stuck in mud. Keep in mind, that top line for Buffalo has been very good lately. Tuck, Thompson, and Skinner for the Buffalo Sabres. They've been great. I would think, you're going to see a bounce back a little bit from them. Tage Thompson to score a goal is a consideration for me. Alex Tuck, you got to bet his shot prop right now. He just keeps on going over his shots on goal prop. You got to keep going with that at 3.5, in my opinion. But I like Buffalo a little bit here. First period, +195. Don't trust them for the full game, but I think early in the game they could have a good start. And lean over the total of 6 as well. There's some other totals I like. I like the Carolina total more, but I would lean to this one over a little bit. Let's go to Maddie and Jimmy. Buffalo and St. Louis. Take it away.
I don't know, Maddie. You liking the Alex Tuck goal line, or who do you think should score here on Buffalo? Who's the guy you think might score tonight?
She's thinking.
Peyton Krebs.
Peyton Krebs? All right, we'll go with a little Peyton Krebs prop here, and I think Papa Murph here is like, I like what you like there, Ian, as well. Loving them in the first period, could actually see them pulling off an upset in this game. I think this is a sneaky trap game for the Blues, so I'm going to go with that as well. The first period, and then we'll go with Peyton Krebs and a goal prop.
All right, says Maddie. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have to make sure we bring Maddie on the show every day if this cashes. I mean,
I'm betting that now, too.
Maddie,
I'm betting it, too.
Yeah. Maddie special right here. Peyton Krebs to score a goal tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. And like I say, if this hits, we got to be impressed with Maddie's acumen when it comes to hockey picks for sure. All right, Alex, what do you think here? Buffalo, St. Louis.
Well, yeah, we're kind of all in agreement with looking at Buffalo possibly having some momentum going in the first period. The thing about looking at the full game is that Buffalo's 3-13 the last 16 meetings against St. Louis. So even going back a ways, and obviously we're talking about a lot of bad Buffalo teams over the years, that they still haven't been able to find a way to beat St. Louis. But also St. Louis is coming home off of a road trip, so that's always a spot kind of like the faded team. So I'm going with the first period over, only laying $1.30, need 1.5 goals there. And I'm going to go with that Krebs to score as well. I think that prop might hit tonight. So.
All right, good stuff there. All right, Andrew.
There we go.
Yeah, how about that? Well, I'm jumping on. We're all jumping on it. We're gonna support Maddie. We believe in Maddie. Maddie knows what she's talking about here. Peyton Krebs will score tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. That's all there is to it. Andrew, Buffalo, St. Louis.
Well, I have a goal scoring prop now. Obviously, I didn't have one before until about 45 seconds ago, but I do now. I'm also on the first period over. That's kind of where I'm looking. You talked about it, Ian. When a coach pretty much tells you that they're satisfied with the way a road trip went, you kind of have to think it's going to be a slow start for them and maybe some bad defensive mistakes. So I think both teams could score, but I would play it safe with the over 1.5 first period.
All right, there we go. Like an over in the first period. How about Jimmy and Maddie with the game that they came into the show after we talked about it? Columbus, Carolina. What do you guys think there?
Well, I think I know where Maddie's going to go on anytime we bring up Carolina, right? Because that's where Grandma lives. So we're taking the Hurricanes in this one, but we're going to have to do. I think, Maddie, do you think they can win by more than 2 goals?
Yeah.
Because we're not getting much value either way. All right, so she's saying it -2.5.
There you go. That's Carolina. Yeah, wow. That's alternative puck line right there. Carolina Hurricanes again in a tough spot for the Jackets for as good as they've played. Back-to-back 3 and 4 nights. Berube on a back-to-back starting. Carolina +130, by the way, for -2.5 goals tonight against Columbus. All right, here we go. We got everybody here. We got Maddie. I'll tell you what, Maddie, you're doing good. Keep it up. Peyton, I like that you go for value. Peyton Krebs of value, definitely.
Like father, like daughter.
Goal score prop, exactly. Just like your dad, your old man loves his puck lines. That's why we call him Jimmy Puck Line. Daddy Puck Line for you. Yeah. All right, it is New Jersey.
That's actually got to be the new line, Jimmy. It can't be Jimmy Puck Line anymore. It's got to be Papa Puck Line. That sounds better. That sounds cooler.
That's even better. All right, yeah, Papa Puck Line, Daddy Puck Line, Jimmy Puck Line. You got to get in on the puck lines, Maddie. That's one of the things he'll teach you now that you're on the show. New Jersey and Chicago. We've got Chicago -120, home favorites, 6 the total here in this one. So we know with New Jersey, they're on a back-to-back. They're off a huge win against Pittsburgh last night. And boy, did they ever jump on the Penguins. Early in that game, they got out to a quick lead, 2-0. And then they ended up building it up to, I think, 4-0 before Pittsburgh finally scored. It was a terrific performance by the Devils. And it is back-to-back, but I don't really want to hear this nonsense from people that they're tired, New Jersey. They just had a week off, going into the game against Pittsburgh last night. So they shouldn't be tired. This is not your normal back-to-back. They should be relatively fresh, all things considered, for them playing back-to-back games like this. So I think they can handle this. It's been a steady stream of money on New Jersey here because Chicago opened -145. They're down to -120, -125. But I agree with it. I've got a split bet with Jersey here, money line and their team total, which I got early today at -140, over 2.5. This team is going to start to score some goals. You look at last night with Janssen back, with Jesper Bratt, who was playing great before his recent absence, comes back last night for the Devils and scores both of their first 2 goals. That's another goal scorer prop tonight. Jesper Bratt for sure. Over shots on goal. New Jersey, I think, is going to find some offense. The question is, Can they defend, and can they get goaltending, the likes of which they got from Nico Dawes last night? Can they get that on a consistent basis? That's the question. What I know for Chicago is I sure don't trust returning Kevin Lankinen in net tonight for the first time since Oblivion, it feels like, and when he last started a game for the Chicago Blackhawks. So it's been a while. His numbers aren't great. 3.41 goals against average, 889 save percentage for Lankinen. Hasn't played since January the 22nd at Minnesota, where he gave up 4 goals on 44 shots. So it's been a while. Yeah, and his number, he hasn't had a great season. I think New Jersey, it's back-to-back on the road. Is there a potential for a mini letdown after a big win against Crosby, Malkin, and the Penguins? Yeah, but they've 5-2 in the last 7 against Chicago. They've done well head-to-head, and I think they're at least able to score goals. So got a split bet, half and half, New Jersey money line, which I got at plus 120. New Jersey team total over 2.5, minus 140. Which I believe the juice has gone up on that now. It's about minus 160 now. I think it might even hit 3.5, the team total in some spots. And I'm also going to take the over 6 for the full game as well in this one. Jimmy and Maddie, here you go. New Jersey, right. Chicago.
Maddie's going to tell you this one. What are we liking, Mads?
Over 6 Devils money line.
2 bets. 2 recommendations here from Maddie. New Jersey money line and over 6. And Maddie, I'm on 2 of those as well. So let's get it. Let's win. Let's get that. 2 New Jersey money line and over. Great stuff. All right. So there it is. Devils and over for Papa Murphy and Maddie on that game. Alex, Devils and Blackhawks.
Yeah, Maddie, that's a good pick. I'm a Hawks fan, but they're probably going to lose tonight for sure. This is not a good spot for them. They've got Kevin Lankinen in the backup goalie. Ian, as you mentioned, he's returning, and his numbers are pretty awful. And this is New Jersey on the second night of a back-to-back, so they might allow some goals here as well. And I haven't seen this since we've been seeing these 2s for the first period. It opened 2 at even money and dropped down to 1.5 minus $1.55 offshore. So that tells me that, the books kind of made a overcorrection. I don't know if they thought Lincoln was going to come back early and then they weren't sure of the information and they moved that number. But 2 makes sense. So now we're getting 1.5. I'll wait a little bit in game, try to grab that at maybe $1.30, $1.35, go over the first period.
All right, so maybe wait another in-game opportunity maybe for a first period over here with the Devils and the Blackhawks. Andrew, New Jersey and Chicago.
Yeah, first of all, just a big shout out to everybody tuning in. Those numbers have climbed up. I think at one point we've had over 200 different people watching this, up to like 140 people live at one point. So we appreciate all of you guys. Yeah, it's dog or pass for me, but I haven't really made anything official on this one quite yet, but that's kind of where I'm really looking there. We got some funny.
Devil's going to make Alex break out the Jameson watching his Blackhawks lose.
That's pretty funny.
Some in the bottle after last night.
It's literally still right here.
It's there from last night. Actually, You know what's funny? You know what's still next to me, which is kind of in the office. We still got the bottle of wine. I left it from yesterday night in the office.
That's great.
A little vino last night.
What's that stuff, guys, that they have up in Newfoundland? That crazy booze they have. It's really strong. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, when you get screeched in, whatever it is.
Yeah, screeched.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
No, I've never been. I want to go there someday. That stuff will
snap your head back a little bit.
My brother went there.
Is it Canadian moonshine, basically? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother went there. Jimmy, he actually was with a girl from Newfoundland for a little while, and so he got screeched in, and he was like, "Man, everyone's looking at you. You have to act like you don't it's not a horrible taste, right? Like everyone's looking at you, and you're just like, yeah, you got to just." It's one of those times where you're trying to hold in what you're actually thinking.
Yes. Exactly.
That's a good point. Andrew's dog barked exactly when Ian said he was taking New Jersey. It's a sign. It's a sign.
Everything's adding up. Everything's adding up.
Pass. The dog likes it too, Matt.
A dog likes another dog. Wow. Actually, that doesn't always happen. So actually, we shouldn't just take that for granted. No question. Great stuff. All right. On we go. Winnipeg and Colorado. We've got the Jets and the Avs here. Colorado minus 285, home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. The Jets and the Avs. I mean, probably at the beginning of the card, if you would have asked me dog of the day, probably New Jersey, but I'm tempted to at least take a little sprinkle on the +1.5 on Winnipeg. Because one thing about the Jets here, I don't know if I have the guts to take money line because of Colorado at home, but you look at the Avalanche. Guess who they play tomorrow night? Vegas. Huge game against the Golden Knights. This definitely does feel like that same spot we saw Colorado in. You remember it? They played Dallas at home, and they played Vegas the next night. What happened in the home game against Dallas? They lost 4-1. I'm not saying Winnipeg's going to win this game for sure, but it's the same similar scheduling situational spot, that we have here for Colorado tonight. And for Winnipeg, they're not winning games, but man, they're fighting tooth and nail every game. The Calgary game, right down to the wire. Calgary scores the game winner with less than a minute to go from Elias Lindholm, 2-1. Dallas, they're up 3-2 in the third period. They tie it and they win in overtime. Tyler Seguin, 4-3 for Dallas. I mean, they're right in every game lately, the last couple. And Hellebuck's been good. He's given them a chance. Kind of feels like I think Winnipeg can hang around. Now, they've had no success in Colorado. I think they're 1-7 the last 8. They're still banged up. Christian Reichel's injured. Cole Perfetti is injured. There's Andrew Kopp might miss another game. He's missed the last few. Oh, and Nikolai Ehlers, who just came back, he's injured again for the Winnipeg Jets. So there's all kinds of concerns here for Winnipeg. But the one thing I have not been concerned about is still battling. It's an uphill battle. I think they're 6 or 7 out of that second wild card spot now. They've got work to do. The games are dwindling down. The losses are mounting. It can't be easy for this team to remain confident right now, but they do play hard. It's a kind of a dubious spot for Colorado. So, yeah, lean Winnipeg money line, but Winnipeg +1.5, I think, just for a little security. Going to look maybe toward that at around even money here. It's just got that something smells foul about this spot a little bit for Colorado. Certainly they're good enough. And remember, they're probably going to be without McKinnon again. McKinnon, they're saying he might be back this weekend, but why would you play him tonight against Winnipeg when you can rest him for tomorrow night when you play Vegas? And I think that's what they might do. I don't think they're going to rush Nathan McKinnon back tonight. Of course, he missed the Detroit game, and of course, they still won rather easily. And they're 12-3, I believe, without McKinnon this year, so they can win games without Nate the Great, no question. But something tells me Winnipeg's hanging around tonight, so I like the puck line. +1.5 even money, Winnipeg Jets. Jimmy and Maddie, here you go. Winnipeg, Colorado.
Well, Maddie's gonna make the picks here, but I'll give you some prefaces to what we're gonna pick here. I like that, something's rotten there, something stinks here. Well, something, the saying, something's rotten in Denmark. Let's just replace the mark with ver. Something's rotten in Denver tonight, guys, and I'm with Ian on this. I think they're looking ahead to tomorrow night, and I also think Winnipeg knows right now. It's not too early to say that these games now are do or die, right? I mean, their playoff hopes are going right down the tubes right now, and they need a big win. And what a confidence booster this would be. And I think they tighten up on defense. So, Maddie, what are we taking here?
Jets under 6.5.
And the Jets money line.
Yes.
And the Jets, money line. See, Jimmy's got a little bit more guts than I do, +225. Although I probably will sprinkle on that, but the majority of it, like percentage-wise, probably be 80-20, 80 on the puck line, +1.5, just because I could see the Jets battle, and then fall short like they've done so many times and lose by 1. But I like the guts. I like the gumption, as Darren Pang would say, for Jimmy Murphy with the +225. And liking the under, I lean to the under as well. Colorado's gone under in 4 straight at home. I find when they get a lead at home, especially with the big game against Vegas tomorrow night, they'll just put it on cruise control, hang in there, and try to bring it home. Francouz in net, by the way, which is not surprising. Save Kemper for tomorrow night when he had a shutout, I believe, against Vegas the last time he faced them. Francouz has been a little up and down. He gave up 2 against Detroit, 3 against Dallas before that, 4 against Chicago. So he's not been quite as sharp, certainly hasn't been as good as Kemper lately, which could open the door here for maybe Winnipeg to hang around. Alex, what do you think here? Jets, Avs?
Yeah, it's a bad scheduling spot for the Avalanche. Being on the road for 4, coming home for 1, and then going right back on the road and taking, like I said, a team obviously they've kind of built a rivalry with of sorts with Vegas. So this could be a bit of a look ahead spot, but I don't trust Winnipeg to take control for a full 60 minutes. Nor do I trust Colorado to lay down if they get behind by a goal or 2 at home. This is a team that has one of the best home records in the league. We saw the streak that they were able to run off. So I like Winnipeg first period +180, And if I see some fight from Colorado in that first 20 minutes and they're still down, I'm definitely going to be looking for a live spot to take the Avalanche money line. But I'm definitely going to be on Winnipeg right now, money line first period.
Yeah, that might be something to consider too. Might have to tack that on the Winnipeg first, kind of like with Buffalo against St. Louis. Kind of think that maybe the first period Winnipeg could maybe. Now McKinnon, I'm just reading, is playing tonight, so he is actually going to return tonight for the Colorado Avalanche. But like I say, the record without him is 12-3. So
and they still might limit his minutes tonight. Doesn't mean he's going to be playing his regular kind of shifts or things.
Yeah.
So
they say lower body injury. They say it wasn't too serious because it was only enough to keep him out against Detroit the other night. So looks like McKinnon will return and fill his normal spot. Obviously, top line minutes, top line duty tonight for the Colorado Avalanche alongside Mikko Rantanen and the captain, Gabriel Landeskog. Andrew, what do you think here, Winnipeg, Colorado?
I like the under as well. I think that's what Jimmy and Maddie, you guys like the under? That's what you said?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think that especially with that game coming up against Vegas, it's I think that I always talk about there's so many overused expressions with back-to-backs, with letdown spots. To me, the number one expression that's used with look ahead is the most accurate. Players have these games marked down on their calendar. Obviously, there's all these, calendars all over the locker rooms in the NHL or the buildings, and teams and players know which games are coming up. And I think that Winnipeg, as much as they've been inconsistent with their goal scoring, I think that they'll play a good defensive game tonight. And getting a 6.5 here to me is that key half a goal number here. So I think Colorado can still win, but I'll just take the under 6.5 here.
All right, liking the under here, 6.5, Andrew, in this one. And the big reason why Winnipeg's actually, their defensive game has improved, and it's easy to see why. They've got everybody healthy now. Beaulieu's back, Nate Schmidt, DeMello, Morrissey, Pionk, Dillon. They got everybody back essentially now on the blue line. Remember, they had a bunch of injuries going into the All-Star break on that blue line. They got everybody healthy again. So big reason why they played a little bit better here defensively the last few games. Vegas and Arizona. We got Vegas minus 275. Road favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. Vegas hasn't played since Sunday night where they got a much-needed win. Remember, they had been struggling mightily, but they finally get off the schneid and beat San Jose 4-1. On Sunday night. So they're a very well-rested team. 4 days off coming into this game tonight against Arizona. They've also got the big game on deck tomorrow night, of course. Colorado with the spot with Vegas tomorrow night. Same thing with Vegas here. Are they focused on Arizona having to play Colorado? And it's actually a redemption game for Vegas tomorrow night against Colorado because they got shut out by the Avalanche at home the last time they played them. So it's not a spot I'm looking to lay minus 260. Do I want to take Arizona, though? Not necessarily. We'll see if they go back to Wedgwood. Wedgwood's the only reason that was close. Yes, Wedgwood is in net. I'm not surprised by that Andre Tourigny is doing that, starting Wedgwood again. Wedgwood was the only reason LA was as close to Arizona as they were Wednesday night. 3-2. He was magnificent. It was one of his best games of the year. And Vmelka has really been struggling with his confidence, fighting the puck quite a bit. So it's a very straightforward decision in my mind to have Scott Wedgwood starting tonight for Arizona in this one. I still think Vegas gets the victory. And if you like anything to do with Arizona in this game, guys, why take Arizona money line or puck line? Just take Clayton Keller to score a goal.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that's producing right now offensively for Arizona. 4 straight games with a goal. He has 6 points for the Arizona Coyotes in the last 4 games as well. So, even though I think Vegas gets the win, I don't think it's the craziest thing to take Clayton Keller either to get a point or score a goal because he is the guy that's just carrying the way for the offense right now of the Arizona Coyotes going into this game. Jimmy and Maddie, what do you think here? Vegas and the Desert Dogs, Arizona.
Well, we're not really touching the spread here or the over under. We're looking at this game to have a little more fun with the props, and I think we're going with a former Boston Bruin, aren't we, Matt? Who are we going with?
Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel to score a goal tonight at plus 350.
All right, Phil Kessel. And Phil Kessel's one of those enigmas. There's no question about that. And this year, 6 goals is pretty bad, to be honest, for a guy that's been such a big goal scorer in the past. He's on his way easily for a career low. What was his worst season in terms of goals prior to this year? 14 in 2019, his first year with Arizona. He might not even get to 14, at this point, because we're already 51
games. He needs to get his trade value up, and that's what he needs to do. I mean, I think maybe, he looks at it now. If I start to play a little harder, I can get the goal scoring streak going, or even add some assists. Maybe I can get my butt out of here and get on a better team. So I could see him starting to play a little better as this trade deadline gets closer.
It's funny you say that, Jimmy, because I think there's some truth to it. I'm looking at his numbers now, the last few games here for Phil, even though he hasn't scored since he had one goal on February 9th against Seattle, and that's the only game he scored in the calendar year. So that's how tough it's been for him. But the last 2 games, he's all of a sudden got 3 shots on goal against Dallas, and on Wednesday night against LA, he had 5 shots on goal. You know, he had a bunch of chances. He's firing the puck. You know, he's getting opportunities. So speaking to your point that maybe he's looking to, you know, shoot the puck, try to get on some kind of run. The problem is his shots on goal number is only 1.5, and it's like minus 210. So you got to lay a huge price on that. You're almost better off taking 2.5 at a better price if a book offers it. But certainly he's shooting the puck a bit more. Now the question is, will it lead to him finding the back of the net? Yeah, and you are getting a decent price. I mean, Kessel to score a goal in that plus, you know, almost plus 400 in some spots. So
great value.
All right, Maddie, great value. Maddie's going to be a very economical shopper. She looks for the bargain bin. She looks for the value. She looks for the better prices. It's going to save you a lot of money when you got to pay the bills, Maddie, when you grow up, for sure. Alex, what do you think here? Vegas, Arizona.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the same spot Colorado's in, same thing with Vegas. They're maybe looking ahead to tomorrow night with that big matchup. They still could find a way to beat Arizona. Obviously, this is a Coyotes team that's just been struggling mightily. Wedgwood is in net. Like I said, he's kind of the better option right now. Vemelka just faced a ton of shots over the last, you know, few starts he had, and is starting to struggle a little bit. It's expected. He's a rookie. He just pretty much got thrown into the fire at the beginning of this year. So, you know, he's done as well as he possibly could with this team in front of him. I would lean with the first period over. I think we could see Vegas maybe, you know, get some things rolling. And Arizona's a team that, you know, kind of goes back and forth with that first period total. They're 5-5 the last 10 games. But like I said, Vegas maybe try to put this game away early, and then maybe they take their foot off the gas. And maybe you find some, you know, live spots to bet Arizona to score next goal. Maybe they can kind of cut the lead. So it's one where I don't want to look at laying a puck line with Vegas, because Arizona might, you know, end up coming back and you know, getting, you know, within a goal or two if they get down to a big lead, or vice versa. Arizona could kind of, you know, hang around, maybe make a game close, and then Vegas pulls away late. So I want nothing to do with a side or even a full game total. It'll be a lean in the first period, and I'd probably look at some in-game props as well.
Excellent stuff. By the way, I want to skip back. Tuck is, like 8 out of 10 over shots on goal for him. Same with Lion for Columbus. 8 out of the last 10 games over shots on goal. Justin Falk, the last 10 games, 8 out of 10. And the last 5 games, 5-0 to his over shots prop. Now that's 1.5, and it's minus 160 for Justin Falk of the St. Louis Blues defenseman. But I mean, the percentages are on your side with that, no question. So there's just some shot props to maybe consider. Kessel, by the way, 6 out of his last 10, he's gone over 1.5, including each of the last 2 games. But again, you got to lay minus 210 in some spots with that. That's a lot of big price to be laying there. Andrew, what do you think? Vegas, Arizona.
I got to laugh at Kenny Wu's comment in the live YouTube chat right now. He said Phil Kessel isn't even the best player in his family. which lately
Amanda's a hell of a player. Yep. Amanda Kessel. Yep.
Yeah, she's pretty great. So and she actually made the Olympic team. But I think Phil should have been on the Olympic team. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been. I think he should have been. But anyway, I thought it was kind of a funny comment. Shout out to Amanda Kessel. But I like the under in this game for a lot of the same reasons I like the under in the Avalanche game. Look ahead game for the Golden Knights. Arizona actually plays better defense than people give them credit for. I just think it's kind of the wear and tear of a full 60 minutes. If you notice, lately with Arizona games, they haven't really been losing and getting, beat down early in games. It's been kind of late in the game or in the third period when they kind of implode. So if they can hold Vegas for like even half a game, I think we'll get the under here.
Yeah, the bend don't break approach for sure lately.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely could lend itself toward under. And Arizona got an under out of Wedgwood the other night when they played the LA Kings. So we'll see if that continues here tonight in this one. Before we get to our final game, we'll mention DraftKings, our great partners here at THPN and the Ice Guys, official sports betting partner of the NBA and NHL. They've got an offer that is too good to pass up. New customers can bet just $1 on any team, any NBA team, and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still take your shot at a big payday. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Basketball Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL and NBA. Must be 21 years of age or older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Void where prohibited. Minimum $5 deposit. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, and use the promo code THPN. All right. Final game, and this is actually a pretty interesting game and an important game in the Pacific Division. Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Ducks, LA -10, -115, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. When you look at this matchup, obviously Anaheim got a nice win against the San Jose Sharks the other night, but I'm going to do the old 9-inch nails treatment to the Anaheim Ducks tonight. I'm going to bite the hand that's fed me. In the last game that they played, bite the hand that feeds
Ian's
you.
a pun master, Matty.
Yeah,
well,
I am definitely.
He is the pun man.
Yeah, and you're gonna find that out. Yeah, puns and
Knows his music.
metaphors and alliteration, all that stuff. Yeah, not bad at it. I could be worse. We'll put it that way. But when it comes
karaoke, maybe.
Yeah. Better at karaoke, not worse than that. Certainly, if you want to have a good time, it's.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll rock out the.
When the Ice Guys makes a trip to Vegas, all hands on deck.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Maddie dances. She does hip hop. So.
Okay, nice.
All right,
yeah.
Good stuff. Well, Maddie's gonna have to be like the backup dancers for me when I'm on the.
I gotta learn some moves.
Yeah.
She'll beat me at dancing, that's for sure. There's no question about that. But anyway, when you look at LA-Anaheim, Anaheim with a nice win against San Jose, 4-3 in a shootout. But, that game could have went either way. It was a coin flip. This team is suddenly an over machine, and so is LA, believe it or not. So 5.5 makes me think maybe this game goes over the total. I mean, both teams are feeling it offensively. They both got players that have been terrific lately, scoring goals for them. Zegras and Terry goes without saying how good they've been for Anaheim. They're getting offense even from the back end lately. Ricard Raquel's been on fire for the Anaheim Ducks. That could continue tonight. For LA, Adrian Kempe can't be stopped. I mean, him to score a goal is a nightly consideration, in my opinion, to score a goal. Same with his shots on goal. Same with Alex Iafallo. His shots on goal, I mentioned it prior to the Arizona game Wednesday night. Take Iafallo over shots on goal. It keeps cashing. Drew Doughty let me down with shots on goal, but I saw that game, LA-Arizona. He had a bunch of shots blocked or missed the net. It was one of those nights the puck was just not going on net for him. He was shooting. I think the shot attempts, I think, for Doughty was like 8 or 9. But unfortunately, I think he only had the one registered shot on goal the other night. I'd still come right back to maybe looking at Doughty over 2.5 shots tonight. But I like this game over the total. And to be quite honest with you, I like LA. -110. I just think a lot of Anaheim's success and offensive success lately, and I really did some looking into this, power plays. 5-on-5, not so good. The 5-on-5 play, LA is significantly better, especially lately, than the Anaheim Ducks. I think that's where this game's won. And the Anaheim penalty kill is dreadful at the moment. You look at Anaheim's recent penalty killing numbers, they're terrible. That could be problematic because the Kings have shown signs of getting their power play going. I mean, nobody talks enough about Iafallo, Kempe, and Kopitar. That line has really generated some significant chemistry and offensive productivity. Philip Deneau is scoring goals. Victor Arvidsson had a great game on that second line the other night against Arizona. Drew Doughty is shooting the puck a lot. Sean Dursey, this kid that they've got on their blue line, looks like he's going to be a good player as well. I like how he moves the puck up the ice. He's got a decent shot from the blue line as well. There's lots to like with LA, and with all due respect to Arizona, we've seen them, or Anaheim rather, since the All-Star break. They lost to Seattle. That's a bad loss. They got crushed by Calgary, crushed by Edmonton. They did beat Vancouver. That was their one, but everything was going in the net early, and then they were life and death to beat San Jose, who are struggling right now. So I think LA right now, just the better squad at this point in time. And they're actually revenging a loss to Anaheim the last time they played in a shootout way back, I think in October or November. They haven't played since then. I think LA gets payback tonight. So I like the Kings money line -110. I like the over as well. And I like those player props that I mentioned as well in this game tonight. Jimmy, Maddie, final game on this card. What do you like? LA, Anaheim.
All right. What are we doing, Matt?
LA.
And how are we doing it? LA puck line?
Yes.
LA puck line.
There it is. LA puck line. And
Why are we going with LA? Because
I love LA.
she loves
I
LA.
love LA.
You love when she gets older.
Cool.
Car.
We love it, I should say. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that song. They play it on Dodgers games all the time as well. So there we go. LA Kings. And yeah, John Massey makes a great point. They very well lose to San Jose if Anthony Stolarz isn't as good as he was. He Stolarzed the game for the Anaheim Ducks the other night.
And who was the guy we had on last week, Ian, the former player, Danny
Erman. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he said, look, and you guys have said it as well, of course, but I mean, Anaheim's just shown their true colors in the last month or so. I mean, they had a nice little run in the first half of the season, but they are what they are.
Yeah, they're good. They can win it. They're certainly capable of winning any night, to be honest, because they beat Boston. They beat some surprising wins they've had this year. But to me, right now, this LA team, and by the way, LA, we talked early in the year, and they were bad on the road. LA early in the year, they've won 5 straight on the road. Going into the night, they've ironed out their road problems. They're playing better hockey away from home. They're looking for their 6th straight road win tonight.
And they're going to be active at the deadline, guys. I can tell you that for a fact right now.
Yeah.
They are very much involved in a lot of trade conversations, so they could get even better.
Yeah, and I remember you mentioning that a few weeks ago, Jimmy, that they were definitely working the phones, trying to get better. Yep. They believe in this young group, that they can be a playoff team this year and maybe even make some noise, win a series or 2.
I think Chychrun ends up there, to be honest. I think that's where he'll end up.
Yep. And the reason they can thank that, too, is their forward group has improved so much. We don't even talk about Byfield. Wait till Byfield gets going for them.
Yeah.
And he's had a bunch of chances lately. But Quick and Peterson. Quick's had a bounce-back year. This is one of the best years we've seen out of Jonathan Quick in recent years. And, of course, Peterson's been steady in net as well for them as well. So, yeah, there's a reason why they think this team can be dangerous moving forward. Alex, you got the Kings jersey on. Is that foreshadowing?
It is, but I like this total a lot more than the side. And you look at, like I said, it's a cheap number at 5.5. And keep in mind, this is a rivalry game. And these are 2 teams that we thought, if you look, at the beginning of the year, we wouldn't think that these 2 would be playing a meaningful game in late February, early March. It's interesting. Like I said, the LA Kings are truly a potential playoff contender. Anaheim's on the fringe, kind of falling off, but the fact that they've played good hockey at times, and you mentioned about special teams on both teams have great power plays. Anaheim's penalty kill has been awful. If this game gets physical, we could see a lot of penalties called. It might be a lot of scoring opportunities for both teams. So 5.5 is a great number here. I like that over.
Yeah.
Thing Anaheim's been doing lately is giving up shots. They gave up a lot to San Jose recent games. This is a good shots on goal prop game for LA. Like I said, I'm mentioning all of them. Arvidsson, 7 of the last 10, he's gone over 3.5 shots. Drew Doughty, 7 of the last 10, he's gone over 2.5 shots, and he's only even money, -110. Same with Iafallo. 7 of the last 10 games, he's gone over 2.5 shots, only -110. So good prices, good numbers to take advantage of. And again, Anaheim's been kind of hemorrhaging shots allowed in recent games. Ducks have allowed 43, 41, 42, 3 of the last 4 games they've played. Andrew, what do you think here? Kings Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, I told you before I was buying on the LA Kings this week, and I figured, hey, it's already been a pretty good week for me and them. I think I'm going to just finish off the week and try and make the sweep. Give me the Kings. I think the Ducks, you made that pun about Stolarz stealing it. I think that they do rely too much on their goaltending, and that's in large part why they've been going over the total. They're scoring with some of the younger players and stuff. We saw it earlier in the season, but the scoring for them is kind of drawn away a little bit. If Anaheim wants to be successful, they have to be a lower scoring and defensive team, but they're allowing far too many shots a game. And LA, I think, has a better defensive forward group, which is why I like them tonight.
They remind me, guys, of the Habs right before they fired Ducharme, right? They were just kind of sitting back. All right, pour as many shots, and hopefully our goalie keeps in, and we'll steal a goal here or there and maybe sneak away with a win. But that you can't play that way every night.
No.
It's been tough on them. Now, The question is who's in net tonight for Anaheim. It's probably going to be Gibson. They probably go back to him. Gibson's given up 19 goals in the last 4 starts he's had. 19. I mean, it's definitely not been great for him of late. So I think that's part of the reason why Stolarz played against San Jose, because I believe that game was not a back-to-back. No, it wasn't for Anaheim, but they still felt, you know what, let's give him a break. Let's put Anthony Stolarz in there instead, and they got the win. And he played well, Stolarz, and he played so well that I think it's going to give Dallas Eakins maybe a food for thought here, that maybe we got to go back to Stolarz again. He played so well against San Jose, and maybe rest Gibson one more game. Again, Gibson has not been sharp since the All-Star break. 19 goals that he's allowed in 4 games, 4 starts since the break. So interesting goalie decision coming up tonight for Anaheim.
Jimmy, we got a question here from you from Brian about the Bruins. Asking what's with the Bruins playing so well. He said thanks at the end in advance, so I figure, such nice manners. What do you think about the Bees these days, though, man?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say they're playing so well. They played well last night, but there were a lot of things I didn't like. They're taking a lot of undisciplined penalties, way too many high sticks on both sides, to be honest. But I think they know right now they're sensing the urgency, and they know that a couple of them are probably creeping over their shoulders saying, am I going to be here by the time the deadline passes? Because Don Sweeney's very active, and I don't think he's going to be afraid to use roster players to get what he wants. So I think a couple of these guys on the roster right now are fearing for their jobs there. And if they want to stay there, they're going to have to pick it up. So that might have something to do with it. And then, look, the goaltending's been better as well. Jeremy Swayman's really been great in net, and I thought Allmark stood up when he needed to last night. So I think that's been the key for them.
Yep. And then, of course, you got a guy showcasing himself before the trade deadline in order to get traded, and Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah. Matty liked him last night, right? Like his celebrations.
Yeah, he gets into it when he scores a goal. No question. And look, good on him. 2 goals last night. He scored against Colorado. I think that's a goal scorer prop you take now with Boston games because, he's trying to showcase himself, kind of like the way Jimmy was talking with Kessel. He might be trying to do that here. Now, the question, at least DeBrusk is finding the back of the net. We got to see if Kessel can do the same.
Bergeron and Brad Marchand,
which helps. No doubt about that. They elevated him to that top line. And, man, it's amazing how many better looks you get at net on goal when you play with those two guys.
Me look good.
Exactly. Make a lot of people look good. Ty Domi could play on that line, maybe find the back of the net a few times. For some of those old enforcers, Stu Grimson might have had a 20-goal season. You never know, playing with those two guys. Great stuff with Jimmy, with Maddie. Thank you, Maddie, for joining us. You did a great job, Maddie. Thank you. There you go, Maddie, with us as our special guest on this Friday show. Alex and Andrew, great stuff as well. We're going to wrap it up right now. Best bets to wrap up the show. By the way, it could be a full house tomorrow on Saturday because we've got a huge Saturday card on tap tomorrow. It is a huge hockey day. It starts with Florida and Edmonton at like 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is a great game. You got the first ABC Saturday hockey game of the season. They're going to have a Saturday afternoon national TV game on ABC the rest of the regular season. Rangers and Penguins, 3 p.m. Eastern time with McDonough and Ferraro. That's going to be a good game. You got Hockey Night in Canada at night. Leafs playing, of course. Some other good Saturday night games. You've got Minnesota, Calgary, late night to wrap things up. It's a huge Saturday card. Going to all be there. We're going to have Vito, of course, who's with us on weekends. We're going to have Jake Hahn back as a special guest tomorrow on the show. Alex and Andrew, if they're around, they'll be joining the show as well. So it is going to be a busy Saturday show, and we're looking forward to it. Big card, lots of games. Looking forward to it on the Ice Guys tomorrow at noon Eastern. So don't you dare miss it. All right, best bets. Let's start with, we'll save the best for last. We'll save Maddie for the end here. We'll go to Alex first. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, you forgot to mention too the Stadium Series game. That'll be nationally televised too.
Right, on TNT tomorrow night.
And Tampa Bay playing in Titan Stadium, so that'll be fun to watch as always. But like I said, great card for that. But for tonight, we're gonna go with St. Louis and Buffalo. We'll go with that first period over 1.5, laying $1.30. Of course, St. Louis had that streak snapped to 12 straight first period over. So even with 12-1, that's still a great run, and it's a Buffalo team might be able to get a goal early. And catch this team napping off of that road trip, that successful road trip that Berube called it. So we'll go with the Blues and the Sabres. First period over is the best bet tonight.
All right, Blues Sabres over 1.5. First period for Alex B. Smith with his best bet, and I think he also a smaller opinion too on that Sabres first period money line, maybe to jump on the Blues as well. Andrew, what do you think here? Best bet for Friday?
Give me the LA Kings on the money line to knock off the Ducks tonight. I like the Kings. I think they're going to continue to roll, and I think it's a reasonable price here against the Ducks.
All right. LA Kings minus 110 against Anaheim. Best bet for Andrew McInnis. I love LA. There we go. Another one there. Jimmy and Maddie, the floor is yours. Maddie, you got to give the best bet. What do you like?
What do we say?
Kings.
Go Kings.
There you go. LA Kings minus 110 against the Anaheim Ducks. Best bet for Maddie and Jimmy as well. My best bet is going to be, how can I not? We've been riding this 6.5s with Columbus. We're going back to the well here. Columbus, Carolina over 6.5, minus 120. I like the both teams to score first period look as well that Alex mentioned. But this time, last night, I liked that more than the full game total. Tonight, I like the full game total more than the first period, both teams to score. So we'll go with over 6.5 here. Columbus, Kakalaki, Jackets, Hurricanes over 6.5 for my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. We appreciate it. 163 live viewers on YouTube. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that on the way out. And help subscribe to the channel. Tell anybody you know that's a sports fan, a hockey fan, a bettor, any interest in betting. Tell them about the Ice Guys. And we're the only ones that are here 7 days a week breaking down every single game from an NHL perspective, including tomorrow with a massive Saturday show at noon Eastern. So make sure you join us for that. Andrew, thank you. For Andrew, for Alex, for Jimmy and Maddie. Maddie, any parting words? Any last words from you?
We're good.
Go Phil Kessel.
Yes.
Phil Kessel, go Kings.
Thank you for joining us, Maddie. You're welcome here anytime. And
thank
if
you guys.
beat me, if you have a better record than me at the end of the night, then maybe looking for a new host. You never know. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday. Remember, the Ice Guys is 7 days a week in podcast form as well. Download the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Download the podcast. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday for a massive edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.